Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Time Pirates on this Thursday. How are we all doing? I'm ready for some breakfast, and I'm going to have to adjust the lighting because of the thing back there. There's like a dark spot, and I have to keep going like this. It's such a weird lighting. Maybe if I go like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But good morning. We're here to get things done. I am probably going to finish reading the pages for Pride and Prejudice and get breakfast and write my to-do list. Apparently, I'm going to a poetry slam after we're done here for my daughter's class. So that should be fun. And then I don't know what I'm doing after that. We will go with the flow, I guess. Let's see who all is here, and then we'll get into our first sprint. I'm trying to pull up my timer. There we go. It's alive now. Swank is here. Howdy, everybody. Happy Eggs Benedict Day. You know, I don't think I've ever had Eggs Benedict. I wouldn't even know how to make it. One of these days, I should try it. Happy Pajama Day. Listen, if I could stay in my pajamas all day, I would. And happy high five. High five, everyone. I send you all of the high fives. That's a good collection of days, Swank. Thanks for sharing those. I think my favorite is Pajama Day. If I could stay in my pajamas, I'm telling you, I would. Jean is here. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Jean. How are you? Molly says, oh, what a fabulous day. Give me a high five. I get to eat Eggs Benedict in my pajamas, right? Sounds like a good morning there. Jean says, I am awake and have no headache. Yay for no headaches. And you're going to do your steps. Very nice. Molly says, yay for no headache, right? Headaches are the worst. Swank says, high five to Molly and Jean. Allie is here. Good morning. I will be reading the pages for Pride and Prejudice. Me too. I will eat breakfast and read those pages probably in the first sprint. And then I will work on a few other things, journaling and some writing in the last two sprints. Well, no, I take that back. Journaling and writing will probably be the second sprint. And the third sprint, I will have to take a quick shower so that we're presentable for the class. Jean says, that sounds exciting for your daughter's class, right? I don't know if it was because it's poetry month or if someone requested it as a birthday thing, but apparently they've all done little poems. So, and my daughter was like, you have to come, and I was like, well, I will do my best, because they have this link where you sign in or register to come or something, but it was through Canva. And I'm not too familiar with Canva. I don't know if it went through, and the teacher says they have no way of knowing. Wouldn't you know? Or how are you supposed to know what parents are coming and what parents aren't coming? You know what I mean? So I don't know if she just doesn't know and the school knows or what. But she said, even if my thing to try to register to go or tell them that I'm going didn't go through, that I could just show up at the school and get signed in. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's only from 12 to 12:30. So Molly, after that, you're doing some self-care. Probably. I feel a little better than I did yesterday, but I'm still kind of like, ah. Jean says I'm going to a poetry book signing / reading on Sunday. Ooh, very nice. Swank says Kelly's going to be sad she missed Eggs Benedict Day, right? Well, we'll have to let her know. We'll have to send her a message or at least tell her that, hey, Thursday, you missed Eggs Benedict Day. Comments jumped. Here we go. High five to Allie from Swank. Shuri is here. Morning. WFH. Oh, work from home. I was like, what is WFH? I do that every day. Work from home today. It is a light day, so hopefully to get some reading done. Nice. I don't really have a job. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have things. I do things. What I do, I don't remember. Swank says, yesterday I read In the End of the World. I'll read Pride and Prejudice in the last sprint. Nice. And Swank is saying high five to Shuri. Yeah, because it's high five day. Everybody gets a high five. Shuri says, high five. Lucinda is here. Hi, my lovely. Have today off work, so planning on getting some reading in. Cats have been cuddling me lots already. Ah, they're like, Mom, you're home. We get to hang out. Jean says there is an author event this weekend, debating about going but might not because it's $150 per day. Wow. Do they give you anything for that price? Like or is that just your admission to go to it? That's a lot. I mean, because if there's like you're paying for your admission and they give you goodies, or it includes food and drink or whatever, it might be worth it. It just depends. Do you know all of the details? Well, if you decide to go, have fun. If you decide not to go, then maybe next time. Allie says, high five, Swank. And Swank is sending a high five to Lucinda. Ren is here. Hello, everyone. Molly says, that's a job. Being at home, yeah. I get paid in books. Shuri says, stay-at-home moms are full-time jobs, honey. You're doing the Lord's work. Thank you. Some days are harder than others. Swank says, stay-at-home mom is the hardest job. Yes. I'm trying. Ren, trying to finish off my assignment today and hopefully submit tonight too, but I've got till tomorrow to finish it. Ooh, you got this, Ren. You got this. What is the subject matter for your assignment? Is it something fun? Lucinda says, got about 80 pages left in my physical read, Dead Man in a Ditch by Luke Arnold, and 80% in my ebook, Darkest Storm by Michelle Maddow. I have never heard of either one of those. I don't know what I would do, because we have a ditch outside, and I don't know if I would want to have a dead man in my ditch. That would be something. Shuri says, exactly, Swank. My hats go off to the stay-at-home moms and working moms, to all of us. Yes. Listen, this is waves to everyone. Swank is giving a high five to Ren. Ren, if you didn't see, today is Eggs Benedict Day, PJ Day, and High Five Day. So we can high five and have Eggs Benedict in our PJs. Kelly's gonna be sad she missed today. Shuri says, and if no one has told you lately, you're doing an amazing job, Alicia. I don't get told enough, in my opinion. My husband and I are going through a frustrating time. We're fine, but it's just he wants to buy a new truck because his truck is like 7 years old, but it has over 200,000 miles on it and it keeps having issues. They can't figure out how to fix said issue, so it keeps reoccurring. And so he's like, I'll just solve that problem and buy a new truck. And I'm like, you cannot. You cannot. It is not in the budget. Like, I have enough for a 2 paycheck month to pay all the bills. No extras. That's including like housing, utilities, groceries, streaming. That's internet, everything. There's no room for a truck payment. None. So, I thought I was going to be able to pay down some of the debt, but now he wants me to hold on to the money that he just got. So now I'm in limbo and I don't know how to proceed. So I'm just playing the waiting game. Thank you. I'm debating on whether or not I want to go use my annual pass at Universal this weekend. It might be good to get out of the house because I haven't really done that unless it's taking the kids to and from school, grocery shopping, or running errands. And that's usually stuff for the house. So I'm debating. Ren says it's about global value chains, technically a critical review on them, and my eyes are tired about reading about them. Ooh. That does not sound fun at all. I'm sorry. Well, hopefully you can get it done and then it'll be done and you won't have to think about it anymore. You got this. You got this. Swank says, you rock, Alicia. Thank you. Ren says, high fives, Swank back. And Allie says, can't make it happen. You just can't make money appear out of thin air. Listen, I could. If I could, I promise you, if I had like the winning lottery numbers, I won't be spoiled by it. I will do right by the lottery money and I would share. I just haven't been able to have the winning lottery numbers. They haven't come to me yet. Lucinda says, what is the problem with the truck, though? There's so many people on YouTube posting how to fix car problems. Might be a way forward, looking up that way. We have, and it's something to do with the charging system. Apparently, as we get into newer technologies for vehicles, they put technology on everything. My husband did not know that you have a electronic charging system in his truck. Mind you, this is a 2019. And so if you change the battery out, you can't just change the battery out and be done. You also have to change the battery, then you have to reset the charging system. I didn't even know that that was a thing. So, and there's something else on the truck that seems to be it's broken. So like if he pulls off a piece of it, there's a piece still in it, but when they are attached, it works fine. So I forget what it's called. I want to say it's like a coil pack or something like that. I don't know. But he also has had like the rear diff leaks, and every now and then he's had it fixed 3 times now, the rear diff. So that seems to be holding for now. It's the charging system that is giving him issues. If it is electrical, they will never be able to fix it because they're not having an electrician type mechanic look at it. And again, his truck has over 200,000 miles on it. So it's kind of going downhill, and and uh and so he's just like, "Oh, I need a new truck." And trucks right now, he did find one that is 50,000, but I don't know if that's like exactly what he wants. It sounds like he's kind of settling, but either still, even when he does the calculating of the payment, it's like $400 or $500. I don't have that. And I keep telling him that. So he's like, well, do I keep dumping money into this, or do we figure it out and use between the money that he just got and his truck as trade in and buy the truck? And then he has to pretty much make sure that he gets commission money every month in order to pay for this truck. And then any commission money would go for a truck payment. But that's not a guarantee. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm very leery on doing it. It's very much of a, I don't want to think about the what ifs, because if this is going to be his work truck, I want him to use it as a work truck, and I don't want to have to worry about if they come to repo it because he didn't make a payment, because he didn't get the commission. I would rather it be a, yes, we're buying this. Yes, we have the payment for it every month, and just deal with it and then pay it off as quickly as possible using said commission money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of all of the logical things, but I digress. We're not here for financial stuff. We're here for writing and reading and all of the things. And the comments have jumped so much. Molly says, Ren, do you know your IQ? I wish I knew mine. I just haven't, like, I would like to at some point. Because I know my kids are, I don't know about my son, but my daughter, she is in the gifted program at her school. And she was tested, and that's how she was able to be accepted into the gifted program. Her IQ is 141, and she's 7. So I'm trying to keep up and make sure that she learns at her pace. Molly, okay, hi everyone. Did you not say hi before? And I missed this one. Swank says, do it. You need to do something you love to fulfill yourself. I think I am leaning towards going, because I would like to go and ride some of the rides, because I haven't, besides the Epic Universe visit, I have not been to the parks at all this year. So, and I think it takes at least 2 to 3 visits to warrant continuing my annual pass. So, yes, I know we have a bunch of year to go, but I used to go like once a month. So, I need to do that. And I might go twice in May. So if I go this weekend, that'll be the first visit of the year besides the Epic Universe in February. And then I'll go twice in May, once towards the beginning of the month to the regular parks, and then I may try to go to Epic Universe. They're making changes. I saw something this morning where Epic Universe is trying to do it so that you have to like scan or have facial recognition to go into each portal. I don't know. I have to research it. They're testing for something. I don't know what they're doing. So it'll be interesting to read about. Plus, if they're actually doing it, I would like to see it and see what it is that they're doing. So, like I said, I may go. I may go. Molly, did you not say hi before? Is that why you're saying hi? Jean says going to watch Canada Reads 2026. It is a debate where they pick 5 books to be up for the book of the year. Literacy is valued here. Ooh, I wish our country was a lot like more of the other countries. I would love for the US to be a lot different than what it is right now. If I could just take pieces from each country, like aspects, and that be the United States, that would be awesome. Lucinda says, and yeah, depends on what the problem is to whether it's cheaper to buy something new secondhand or something. Yeah, we're looking at all options right now. I personally have mentally like shut down the idea of any new vehicle, whether it be pre-used, certified, brand new, whatever, mainly because that monthly payment is not there. But he keeps trying. He's very persistent. So we'll see what happens. I think it's a matter of he's probably going to see how long it takes before I just go, you know what? Fine. Just do it. Fucking buy the truck. But I'm going to hold out. And it's not there. So unless I can save up some commissions and then have him just outright buy it, that would be the ideal. Because then we wouldn't have to worry about a truck payment. See, all the options. All the options. I'm trying. I can only do so much. Molly says, that's cool, Jean, right? I like that idea. Andy is here. Hello, Andy. Good morning. What are you up to, Andy? Lucinda says, oh yeah, recoding it to the vehicle. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is. I have no idea. There's new fangled technology that I just go, why? Why do we need that? Swink says, that's why you have to read the manual, especially new vehicles. I know. I don't think he's read any manuals when it comes to vehicles. He's just like, cool, it's a vehicle. If it gets from point A to point B and back, then we are good to go. Jean says, Canada Reads is 5 days of debating book content. 5 days. And they have to narrow it down to like the book of the year? How many books do they start with? That's interesting. Is there a place where you can like watch this? I'm curious. I was trying to figure out what this is. It's a clothespin on the curtains. Why? I don't know, but I just noticed that. I don't know how long it's been there. Was that there yesterday? Let me know. Okay, squirrel. Lucinda says it is worth phoning a local dealer for advice and quotes because they'll know what they're talking about. Well, he's been taking it to the dealer. That's the thing. He takes it to the Ford dealer. They're the ones that do all of his maintenance, and they can't figure it out. He said he took it in, what's today, Thursday? He took it in Monday or Tuesday and told them this is what happened. The thing came up saying, charging system issue or whatever it says. He took it in. They let the truck sit for like a day. And yesterday, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, after he had called them, I guess they looked at it and then said they could not duplicate the problem. Therefore, he just had to come get the truck and wait for it to happen again. And he says it happens about every 6 weeks. So I don't know. Maybe you have to wait another 6 weeks. I just don't know. Lucinda says, and often only the official dealers can do the recoding of parts too. I'll tell him and see if maybe they can do that for him, but I don't know if it's an issue or. And the thing is too is like I feel like this truck has had issues from the get-go, because this truck, since he's had it, I think he's gone through 4, maybe 5 alternators, and sometimes he has to pay for it, and other times they're like, oh well, it's within warranty because you just had it done X amount of months earlier. So I don't know. Molly says hi to Andy. Swank says he needs no bell and whistle vehicle. He needs to just deal with that. Yes, I agree. And I was looking on Carvana just to see what kind of vehicles were out there. And there are a couple of options, but there are certain brands that he won't buy. And there's certain things that he, like, quote unquote, has to have. So he's just gonna have to wait. That's where I'm at with it. Just gonna have to wait. Swank says, high five to Andy. Molly says, what is the deal with the third car? I think you said you had 3. The Impala. Yes, we have my car, his truck, and the Impala. Actually, we have 4 working vehicles. One of them is an old Crown Victoria that was used by the fire department that he got at auction. He could probably use that, but the thing is it hasn't moved, and it's sitting in the workshop for a couple months now. So he would have to probably either replace the battery or charge the battery to see if it's in working order. He can use the Impala, yes, but depends on where he's going. Because the Impala has the same issue. If it sits, it doesn't want to start. And he bought these cars like years ago. So the Impala actually used to be the vehicle that I would take to go to work, because I had a Honda CRV that had a chronic AC problem. And so we sold the CRV, we got the Impala, and that's what I drove back and forth to work when I used to work. And that was before I had my son. So it was very interesting to drive. I will say people will move out of your way if they think you're a real police officer, because it's an old police interceptor. It does have the front, what's it called? The like, what is that thing called? It's not a grill piece. It's not on the car per se. It's like in front of the car. Push bumper. That's what it's called. They use it to push vehicles out of the roadway, so it's a push bumper, but it's made out of metal. So I had one of those on there, and of course there's a working spotlight, but there's no other. You can tell it's not a police car, but if you don't look too hard, you might think it is one. So I used that for the longest time. And then when I had my son, I got my Pilot, my Honda Pilot. So I've been driving that. I even told him, I said, if it gets us closer to the amount that you need, if you have to have a new vehicle, I'll sell my car and I'll drive the Impala, because at least I know that it's getting like used. And I could probably get 12 grand for my car, even with it being like a known accident, having a known accident, because it has been in one accident. So I'm like, he's like, I don't want you to sacrifice your vehicle. And I'm like, but if it gets us to the end result of what we're trying to accomplish, I can wait and fucking buy a new vehicle when we have the money. Like, I do what is necessary. I don't care about sacrificing anything. If it's a sacrifice, then great. If it gets us to where we need to be, then great. It's like, to me, it's just a vehicle. You know what I mean? Like, yes, that vehicle has been in our family since my son was born, but at the end of the day, it's just a vehicle. Do I like my vehicle? Yes, I absolutely love it. But if things need to be done, I will get them done. Molly says hugs to Alicia. Thank you. Hugs to me. Thank you. You guys are awesome. And we need to get back on track. we're not back on track, and my tummy's starting to grumble. So let's get through the comments. Shuri says we're here to support no matter what. This is what I love about our little community. You guys are always supportive, no matter whose sprints you're in, and I just love that we're all supportive. Thank you. Don't make me cry. Molly says, exactly, Shuri. Ren says, I have no clue. LOL. Never took the test. Molly says, 141 is genius level. Speaking as someone who has a gifted student, please, please, please make sure she is learning to socialize without alienating herself like I did. That is the biggest thing. She is very, very decisive. She very much, once her mind is made up, that's it. And she is very quick to, she's like a perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect, otherwise she throws a temper tantrum. And I have been working on that beyond measure. They have recently been teaching me how to do Roblox. They teaching me. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. And they're like, oh, just do this and this. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't even know. Like, I know video games, but this one I do not. And so, but her teacher has even said that she's top of her class. They have what they call grade level sight words. So each grade level they will learn a new set of sight words or new vocabulary. She's already in the second grade word bank. So they give her extra time. If she wants to go to the library and pick up books, she can go every day if she wants. Last year, they used to have what was called AR reading or advanced reading. She was doing that in kindergarten. She did that in kindergarten. Unfortunately, it sounds like they discontinued it this year. But when she goes to the librarian knows that she is above her reading, and they will let her pick out. They'll find books for her that they think she'll like that is above her reading level and give her a challenge. She's already into chapter books. So I might have to start Harry Potter sooner than I thought I was going to be able to. She might be able to read Harry Potter before she's in 5th grade is when they started. So I don't know. I'm struggling to keep up with her. That's my main thing. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do for her over the summer break. And even her brother. Her brother is top of his class as well. When he did the testing for the gifted program, he did not test into it. But they said they will retest him next school year. So, but if he passes that and tests into it, then both of them will be doing it. And once we set them up, it'll follow them throughout the rest of their schooling. So, and I think that's really what they need, because I mean, he likes graphic novels, but he reads them quickly. I had to make sure that I had the whole series of a graphic novel series before he could even start it. Because he would read one and then the next one, and it was like one day he would read each book. And I think there was like seven books in that series, and he just flew through them. And I was just like, "Did you actually read this?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, tell me what it's about." So I have to quiz him, and then he tells me about it, and I just go, "Okay, you obviously read it." Molly says, "Ren, I bet you are a high IQ. You are curious and you study hard stuff." Yes, I agree. Lindsay is here. Guys, I'm here just on my lunch break, 2 p.m. here, as work has been intense this morning. Well, no worries. I'm glad you were able to make it for while you're on your lunch break. What's for lunch? Let us know. Also, high five. High five, because it's high five day. Molly says, basically, I was second person in, and then all the peeps came in and didn't greet anyone. Oh, wow. I don't know how it works with them. I know, like, for their school, they have like a time. I can't drop them off until 8:30. So, but by the time we leave the house and get to the school, it's past the 8:30 time. But 8:30 to 8:50 is breakfast. So if anybody needs breakfast, they can go and get breakfast. And then they start class at 9. So I don't know how early Lorelai is, but she's usually the teacher's helper. She's always like, "I helped my teacher today. We did this and we did that." And I'm like, "Yay!" Enthusiastically. She likes her teachers. She likes going to school. My son, not so much. Swink says, "High five to Mel." Did I miss something? Is Mel here? I didn't see. Now I'm gonna have to pull it up on. Is Mel in the? Did I miss Mel? Did I miss Mel's comment? I don't see. I don't know. Well, if Mel is here, hello, Mel. Hopefully, I didn't miss any of the comments. I pulled it up on YouTube and I don't see Mel. I don't know. Ren says, "Thanks, Molly." Ren says, "Hey to Lindsay." Swank says, "Don't give in." No, I don't plan to. He's done it in the past, so I know his tactics. Swank says, "High five to Lindsay." Lucinda says, "I think it's a mix of deterring thieves, stealing parts, and selling them on, and to keep maintenance in-house with the official dealers." Yeah. And he always has to check things, because there was, I forget what it's called, but there's like a plate underneath the truck. And I guess they switched it from a metal one to a, like cloth one. And my husband was saying he was having issues with it. So he went and bought a metal cover. And so now he checks to make sure that it's still there and it has all of its bolts. Because one time, and this is why he switched dealerships. There was one time where he took it to the dealership. They rotated the tires, did the maintenance, the oil change, that kind of stuff. And for whatever reason, 3 out of 4 tires were on, but there was a fifth one that was not on completely. And it almost fell off as he was driving off the lot from his maintenance. So luckily he hadn't gotten too far. He called him back and said, "Dude, my tire is practically falling off. um come come figure it out." He's like, "This is where I'm at." So they had like a mobile mechanic come, and the I guess service manager, to have a look at it, and they took it back and they had to replace a few things because it had already started grinding. And so they didn't have to charge him for that, but then that person got new training. But then after that, they started doing it where if you used your own credit card, they would charge you because they wanted you to use their credit card. And he was like, "No, I don't want to open another credit card." So he switched. He went and found a dealership that didn't do that. And now he goes to that one. It's so bizarre. He's very particular. Molly says hi to Lindsay. Ren, stubbornness can do the trick sometimes. I'm being stubborn. No, I won't give in. Nope. Alex says, I didn't see the clothespin yesterday. Yeah, so there must be a new thing. I'll take it off in the first sprint, which we have to get to. Ren says, we're cutting back on stuff he likes to make room for new things he wants or needs. Well, that's the thing, is like, he doesn't really spend money. I'm the spender in the family. So even I've like said, dude, like, I mean, the only consumer debt we have right now is credit cards. Potentially, if I were to take the money that he just got, I could potentially pay the majority of it off, right? And then I would just have to wait for another commission to pay the rest of it off, or cut back and say, okay, I didn't use this from the grocery budget. I can put it on something to pay it down. But right now we're, like I said, we're in limbo because he wants me to hold on to that money until further notice. So I'll probably just move it to savings and figure it out. Molly, I was looking into your Disney Pass thinking you might be able to forego that until the new truck was paid off. But holy shit, those are cheap. Wouldn't cover cart payment after 3 months. Well, so Universal, I don't have Disney, I have Universal. Universal, I have the preferred tier. So I have no blockout dates. I have 2 park admission with that. And I don't have to pay for parking, because parking is like $35 depending on when you go, time of year. So, but that, even when I renew, I save 20%. So when I renewed it last December, it was $452. Now, normally I would then divide that number by 12. And so if it's like $50 a month, I would put that $50 a month so that by the time this December comes along, then I would just be able to go, okay, I'm renewing, here's the money. I have not been able to put aside money for any of the sinking funds. So no family vacation, no Christmas, and no Universal. Those are the 3 main ones that I try to pay towards. I also have like a car maintenance fund that has nothing in it. So I also have to try to put stuff aside for school, for the kids' schooling, because they're going to have, they're probably going to need new uniforms, school supplies for the new school year. Granted, their school year is almost over, but come August, that stuff is going to be needed. So it's this, this is why I think I'm having a struggle this week, because the mental load is, I've got like 100 tabs open and I'm trying to go through them and close them and I can't. I woke up twice last night thinking of different ways that I could do this or do that and cut back on this or cut back on that. I even thought about, I was like, well, I could probably suspend, not get rid of, suspend some of the streaming services. But even then, if you look at the grand scheme of things, like I could suspend Netflix, but that's $28 a month. You know what I mean? So like my brain hurts. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, no, I've been trying. I've been trying. I thought about getting a Disney pass too, so I'd have Universal and Disney, but the cheapest one that I could do for Disney, it was, you could only go on the like weekdays, and I can't do weekdays most of the time because I take the kids to and from school. So I forego the Disney. I just have Universal, because Universal, there's no blackout dates. So it's a struggle. I will figure it out. I always do, but it's just a matter of like, what am I not thinking of, you know? Melanie says, or Molly, Melanie, where did Melanie come from? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Molly says, it's probably because I said Molly and tell him in my brain. Oh my God, I need breakfast. Okay. Molly says, tell him to get on a game show and win a new truck. There is a YouTuber that he watches. And so every now and then he will, now my dad's calling. Jesus. You buy like an object or something from his website and you get entered in to win a truck of some sort. So he has been doing that sometimes. That's new. Husband never like texts to say he's leaving. He just said, headed out, love you. He's going to work. He has to go to a customer, the office, and all of the things. Ren says, do mechanics think the car will make it to the end of the year? To be honest, I think it will. And I'm not a mechanic, but I think, yes, it's going to have an issue. And to be honest, I think it's an electrical issue. I think that if he just ignores this, it's not going to have any issue. However, he says that anytime this pops up, he has about 2 to 3 times of it happening, like it'll pop up, and then it like drains the battery. So then he has to replace the battery for the truck. So I don't know. It's like as he puts it, a rock in a hard place. That's the problem. It's a Ford found on road dead. Yep. And he's talked about changing to other vehicles, but the problem is the vehicles that he would like to have are more expensive. And I'm saying it's more beneficial to put money into this one to keep it running for as long as possible until we can buy him a new vehicle. Then we could buy him a new vehicle and then go from there. You know what I mean? But he keeps a track of all of his maintenance, and he's said that he has spent roughly $9,000 within the past year on this truck. And he knows that he's going to have to get new tires soon. So that's another $1,200. And I'm going, yeah, but look at what you were doing versus what you're doing now. Because when he first bought the vehicle, he was putting 33,000 miles on it a year because he was driving all over Florida. Now with the new job, he doesn't have to drive as often. So he's not putting as many miles on it. But in the same token, he does have over 208,000. But I'm like, dude, there are people that will push their cars until they have 500,000 miles on it. So if it still moves under its own power and conditions, I say use it. Use it until it does not move at all. And then we'll cross that bridge. That's where I'm at with it. Because I would do the same thing. I would drive my car into the ground until it does not move before I buy another one, especially with today's prices of vehicles. Ali says that's an insane amount on alternators. Yeah, I have never heard of a vehicle having to need that many alternators. That tells me that it should probably be dealt with by the Ford company itself, and they should be figuring out why it's had so many alternators, why it keeps having the charging system keep popping up, and what they can do to fix it so that he doesn't continue to have issues. That and this would probably deter him from buying another Ford. He likes the vehicle. Yes, it does what it needs to do, but he's already looking at either possibly just replacing the truck, or he's also looked at like Chevy Tahoes and Suburbans. Why? I don't know. He's just looking at vehicles, I think. It's quite, my head hurts again. Ren, yeah, Fords really like to push you forward in getting a new car. I mean, they are trying, and he is trying my patience with it. Ren, does he know what type of truck he wants this time around? No. He, like I said, he's looking at either replacing it with another Ford, or like he might do a Chevy product. But if he does the Chevy, I don't think it would be a truck. I think it would be like a Tahoe, which is like an SUV, or a Suburban, which is an even bigger SUV. So hopefully not a Ford, because that was indeed yeah, it is. I agree. Listen, if we don't go to a sprint soon, we're gonna be in hot water. I'm gonna read this one and the next one, and then we'll go into a sprint because y'all, I need food. Swank, make him sell that to get the truck. Sell what? His truck? He's talking about using his truck as trade-in because he thinks he can get probably 6 or 7 for his truck as is, and then he takes the money that he just got and adds that to it. But the thing is that we would still have a payment. That's the thing that I'm stressing. You can sit there and use it as a trade-in and have the money that you have, but at the end of the day, there's still going to be a payment. There is no room for said payment. And he's even gone as far as, I would just have to make sure that I have a commission every month. And then whatever that commission amount is that's how many months he could use as a truck payment. You see what I'm saying? Whereas I don't want that what if. Because what if he doesn't get a commission? Or what if the commission is not as big as he thinks it's going to be? I don't like what ifs. And that is a risk I am not willing to take. Okay. Molly says invest in Consumer Reports or check Libby to see if it's available to you. It will tell you what vehicles are most problematic versus least problematic. Ooh, I will look into that. I'll see if Libby has it. I'm going to star that because we're going to go into the first sprint. Let me pull up the thing here because I need to eat something. Like my head is starting to change that. Wow. I don't even know how much time that is. We're not doing, hello. Why? Why? Okay. 30 minutes on the clock. I will get breakfast and we will see you back in 30 minutes and then we will continue our discussions. Happy sprinting, y'all. That sprint went by way too quickly. Let me know how you guys did. I did eat breakfast. I had 2 English muffins, cinnamon raisin English muffins with butter and some strawberries. I kind of read ahead in the comments, not really like reading them, but kind of skimming. And I think Lindsay had a question. So when we get to it, I'll show you what I have in hopes that one of them is what you were looking for. And I started digging up or looking up information about the charging system for my husband's truck. So I found some interesting information. I do have questions for him later on that regard. So, but that is what I did, and then I started to journal. I got as far as writing the date and like the first sentence. So I'll have to get back to that. But I also do need to, if I have time, I'll have to take a quick shower in the last sprint because I will have to go, depending on how much time we have, I will have to go and get ready and leave here no later than 11:40 so that I can get to the school and possibly get signed in for this poetry slam thing that my daughter's class is having that we've been invited to. So, this was the last comment that we left off on. I will definitely check out Consumer Reports, so thank you for that. Let me write it down before I forget again. All right, and let's see. We can get through a lot of these comments. Lucinda said, one trick I've seen for low batteries on newer cars is that they need 2 jump/charger packs on them due to how much electronics the new cars use just isn't enough with a standard single one. I don't know about his truck. I'd have to look into it. If he's not careful, he will I will lose my patience and then I will contact the like corporate of Ford and say, this is what is going on. This is what we have been dealing with. There has to be some sort of solution. Have your people contact me. I'm not afraid to find out answers in any way I can. Ren says, I know people are big fans of Toyota Hilux around here, especially since Toyotas are highly reliable cars as well. I have never heard of this. What is a Toyota Hilux? I don't know that he would go for they are not sold in the US. We do have a Toyota Tacoma and a Toyota Tundra as pickup trucks, but we don't have the Hilux. It says it's not sold in the US. It does look like the Tacoma would probably be the closest fit from what it's saying. I don't know if he would go for it, but I can only give him the information. At this point, I'm not making any decisions, and we'll see what he does. Because I've already given him my answer. I'm not telling him no. I'm just telling him not right now. but that doesn't seem to be good enough. So I gave my 2 cents. Ren says, yeah, maybe selling the truck or parts of it will help. I think, yeah, if he uses, he would probably have to use his truck as trade-in. We would have to have a significant down payment. And even then, if anything is financed, I would still have to come up with the monthly payment. That's my biggest thing. Because, yeah, we could totally just trade his truck in, use the money he just got, and buy the truck. However, my what ifs is what if because he's counting on these commissions to use for his truck payment. What if he doesn't get a commission? Then we have to figure out how to pay that monthly payment. So I want no what ifs, basically. I want it's guaranteed to be paid every month. Here's the amount, and here is it coming out of our budget. That type of thing. So it's just a matter of finding what will work. Swank says the Impala could bring in some decent money since it's vintage. I guess it depends on what you mean by vintage, because it's a 2010. And I don't know how old a vehicle has to be before it's considered vintage. I think it has to be like 20 years old. Let's see. How old is a vehicle before, I guess, antique? A classic car. Excuse me. A classic car has to be manufactured in 2000 or earlier. So it has to be at least 20 years old. An antique car has to be manufactured in 1975 or earlier. So it has to be at least 45 years old. And then anything like a vintage car would have to be manufactured between 1919 and 1930. So it would either have to be a survivor or a restored type vehicle. So the Impala does not apply because I believe it's a 2010. So they're newer models, but they're not the newest. So, but he probably could get the amount that he could for it. Let me see. If I went to, I think here we have Kelly Blue Book. I don't know the mileage on it though. Oh, aren't you cute? Okay, no, we're not doing that right now. I can't even use Kelly Blue Book right now because it was like you have to turn off your ad blocker in order to use this and refresh the site. I'll use a different browser later. It pisses me off when shit like that happens. Lucinda says, definitely dreading needing to replace mine, but doing repairs at the moment is still way cheaper than buying a new vehicle. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yes, I understand that he has done $9,000 of maintenance and repairs in the past year, but until he reaches the price of the vehicle in which he paid for it, I say still keep paying on it. Because in that time, yes, you're putting money into it, but at the same time, it's still running. And I could be putting aside that money for you to get a vehicle. And I could be paying off debts right now. Because I could probably pay off the debts this month and next month. And then if I could get him to keep with this truck until the end of the year, if he were to get commissions every month like he's planning on doing, then he would have a new vehicle by Christmas. Like that could be his I got a new vehicle thing. You know what I mean? But he is so hell bent on trying to figure out what to do and do it now that I feel like it's just an impulsive thing. And yes, I get it. Like his vehicle probably could need to be replaced or whatever, but I feel like the same I'm right here. Like if I could still do the repairs, to me it's still cheaper than buying a new one because then like I said, trucks are 50,000 or more in today's economy. Whereas when he bought his, I think it was like 45,000 out the door, and that was 2019. And his isn't even the top of the line. So I need to get him to understand that. Because I don't want him to be impulsive and then we can't pay for it and then he gets mad when the truck gets taken or repoed because he didn't get a commission to pay for it. You know what I mean? It's those what ifs. What ifs? Ren says people do love vintage cars. I do like the classic cars. They are pretty. Ren, you'd still have a car to get around / pick up your kids. Yeah. Ren says, big hugs, Alicia. Oh, thank you. Ren, does Lorelai have any hobbies or interests in trying to like dance or gymnastics or like a team sport to socialize more? She has done a couple of after school activities, like they do bricks for kids, which is like Lego building. She has done math bowl. That was like a 6-week thing. A lot of things are like 6 weeks. But she hasn't really, I mean, she dances around the house, but she hasn't really expressed the I want to go to dance class. We thought about getting information to see about putting her in something like that. But she also does do a lot of like, she will draw her own pictures and color and make her own things. I have a picture somewhere. She made a robot out of cardboard and water bottles and tissue boxes. It did not work, like it wasn't a working robot. It was just the fact that she had made like the structure of a robot. So that's, I think her creativity level is like up there. But she hasn't really expressed like going and doing something. We're going to see about changing that for the next school year, though. Like, do something over summer and then see if we can carry it into the school year. Swank says, has she been tested for ADHD and autism? Not to my knowledge. I don't think she has. Molly says, good point, Swank. Lindsay says, what was the unicorn book that she was reading recently? I'd like to get it for my niece. Okay, do you remember what it looks like at all? Because I do have a couple. This is the one that she just got from the book fair. And this, I don't know if it's a sequel, but there's 2 of them. So you have this one, which is Itty Bitty Kitty Corn. It's like a cat unicorn. And then she just got this one, which is Bubbly Beautiful Kitty Corn, both by Shannon Hale. And then we also have this one, which is How to Catch a Unicorn. So I don't know if that is any of them. So you'll have to let me know, because this one is cute too. And then she also has this one, which is, it's fuzzy, but this one is called If You Want to Be a Kitty Corn, this book tells you how. So this one is a if you want to be a kitty corn. Ah, I don't know. She picks these up mostly from the book fair. So let me know if any of those were it. If not, I'll have to go searching again. And I can hold them up for you again if you need me to. I will, and also I can post it in the Discord later. Molly says maybe she can learn how to fix your husband's truck. Listen, if she could do that, no one will be able to rip her off. I do want to make sure that they at least have the basics. My mom did the same for me. They at least made sure that we had the basics. So we know how to do like basic first aid. We know how to do like basic cooking, cleaning, auto maintenance. And there was one other thing, budgeting. But those were like the 5 categories that my mom was like, I need you to make sure that you have at least the basics. And then from there, you can do what you will with it. If you want to be a chef or a mechanic or a budgeting person, then you at least have the basics. So Ren says, I hope Lorelai gets to read the Rainbow Magic series by Daisy Meadows. I have not heard of these books, but I will write it down and give it to her. Maybe she has it at her school library. If not, I'll see if our library has it. I know she's reading one. I think it's called The Never Girls. It's kind of along the lines of like Tinkerbell. That kind of fairies, but I don't know how it's connected. Ren says it's the first books I think of when I hear fairy. Oh. I'll have to look into those. Ren says also the Sleepover Squad series. Sleepover Squad. PJ Denton. I will look into these. Molly says, oh, I meant that I was second in... Oh. I got you. Ren says, and just Judy Moody and Fancy Nancy and Gruffalo. So many good ones. I know she has like the early readers for Fancy Nancy. Like she has a couple of them. We don't have Judy Moody though. I will write them all down. See what I can find for them to read. Molly says, I think Swink was messing with us, or the High Five Mel was meant for Paula's stream. I removed that. I meant Lindsay. Oh. So I probably still saw it on my end, but on the YouTube side, you probably removed it. It doesn't show it back here. Or Swink says, I was not messing with you. Molly says, oh, LOL. Molly says, I hate that retracted comments on redact in the chat and not yes. Me too. That's why I try to have YouTube open, but I can't like look at both. The annual pass just seemed like an easy thing to let go of, and it's probably still a good place to start, but it wouldn't take care of it. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like this may be my last year of having an annual pass for a little bit, just so that like that's $450 that would not be going to that. It could go to something else. But again, like I try to save up for it throughout the year so that, you know, it's already paid for. But I don't know. It depends on how many times I can go between now and the end of the year, or between now and my renewal. So we'll see. Molly says, when is he up for a raise? That's the thing. I don't know. Like, technically, he is still in the first year of this job. That does not, his 1 year anniversary is August 1st. I know that's when he started the job. So, technically, he's still within the first year. Now, I will say he had a significant pay decrease from old job to new job. So we are still adjusting. But the other thing is too is that like you have to we have to account for like the taxes and medical insurance stuff taken out. Also, he has 401k percentage, and he said he may have to talk to them about lowering the percentage because the way that I guess it works is you set it up, and then every year after that, it goes up a percentage until it like maxes out. So I don't know what he set it at. That's the thing. But I won't know if he even gets a raise until August. So, but his boss does seem to like what he's doing and has said numerous times that he wants Alan to make money. I just don't know if that also, like, if the base salary goes up or if that's purely like on the commission side. So I don't know. I just see what comes in and I go, this is what came in. This is what needs to be paid. And you want to add this thing, it's non-existent. So that's where I'm at with it. And I what I usually do is I do what I do for the budget, and then I send him the numbers so that he can look at it so that we can all be on the same page. Don't get me started, okay? Don't get me started. Molly says it was Universal. Okay. Well, you said Disney. I know Disney and Universal are two different entities, so I didn't know if you were really talking about Disney or Universal. But I got you. Molly says, I realize it feels like a waste because it is, but the battery replacement a fix? If so, why can't he just do that for a while instead of... Yes, see? And I have been looking up some of the things, like that it'll say, what's it say? Charging system service now. That's what it says. Well, if you do that, you can replace the charging system, but what it's basically doing is you're replacing the alternator in the truck. And for that, it's $1,600 to pay for the parts, the labor, and everything like that. $1,600 to have an alternator swapped out. Now, my question is, because I'm also reading that when you do that, you also have to check the fuse, and you also have to make sure that there's no damaged wiring system. So I'm wondering if the wiring harness is damaged. I'm wondering if the fuse has been swapped out. Because if the fuse hasn't been swapped out, would that cause an issue for what he keeps having? Now, if they're changing it out every time they do work, or he changes the alternator or whatever he has done, if they're changing the fuse every time, then they've got to check the wiring harness. There's probably a damaged part somewhere. Problem is if it's a wiring harness, then that means electrical. Then they have to have someone who is a mechanic that does electrical look at it. So, and if they're not doing that, I'm going to be so mad if it's like one of those, like, if I think of something and I say, hey, go to them next time and say this, If it's like you asked the right question, so now we can look harder into it. But if you don't ask the question, then we won't look. You know what I mean? Like if that's the if that's the way they're gonna do things, I hate mechanics. Because they should just be able to look at it and say, okay, why does he keep having this issue? I get it that it's a business and they have to make money, but you should also be fixing things, not half-assing it so that they keep coming back. But in today's society, that's what they do. So that's my other option that I have considered. Molly, and how much would it cost to replace an entire charging system? $16.50 is what the internet is saying, and that's basically them doing the alternator. So unless they go through, because it's saying, and they're also saying that this could be a common issue with this body style of truck. So this year of truck, it could be a common issue where if it's giving the warning frequently, it's either caused by the fuse, the alternator itself, or the wiring harness. I'm willing to bet that it's probably the wiring harness, but no one can check it because they don't have an electrician, a mechanic that is an electrician for the vehicles. But then again, if they could look at that and it is something that can be fixed, I don't know how much that would be. According to Google, if you were to actually change out the charging system wiring harness, if you could actually get someone to do that, then it's anywhere between $100 and $1,500 plus. So it depends on where you go. They're saying with a typical professional repair estimates ranging from $700 to $900. The parts generally cost $30 to $200. And they're saying that the labor would be the majority of the cost because it's 20 hours or more. So you figure $100 an hour, because that's what mechanics get paid. $100 an hour, 20 hours. That's what, 2,000? Yeah, $2,000 right there. Then on top of that, let's say it costs $200. So that's $2,200 for the parts. So you're probably looking at almost $3,000 by the time they add in tax, any kind of fees that they like to add in, disposal fees or whatever. So, I mean, that's a possibility. He could potentially do that, and then the truck could be fine. But the thing is now I have to go look for a mechanic who can do electronics. Maybe I'll ask around. I'm going to start asking around, because if this dealership that he does his maintenance with, if they can't figure it out, then I need to find a dealership that's nearby that has the capability to do the electronics and the wiring harnesses. I mean, I don't know how they would have to feed it through the entire truck, but I imagine, and I don't know what they would have to take apart to get to it, because that's also going to add to labor and whatnot. See, this is, now I'm thinking too much. Jean says, I left and came back from steps and we're still talking about the truck. Yep. The conversation comes and goes. We have done one sprint. So it might be a 2 sprint day. I'm going to try to get through some of the comments and at least do 2 sprints. But today is, like me and Kelly say, some days are just chatty. This is me off camera for eating. Christina is here. Oh, look, I made it. Yay. Hi, Christina. We missed you. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Christina. Christina says, remember to hydrate, feed thyself, check the laundry, take meds, stretch, and show some love to the like button. Also, make sure you sub and ring the bell so you hopefully get notified. Yes, please, and thank you. Molly says, Christina. Molly, Alicia, and all, mom and stepdad need me. I hope to see some of you later in whatever sprints we are in. Alicia, my phone number is in your DMs in Discord. I have to add you to my phone. I'll go look at it. But thank you. Hopefully you guys, or hopefully you and your mom and stepdad have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me, Molly. Allie says, I got to page 265 in the first sprint of Pride and Prejudice. Nice. Christina says, morning, Molly. Swank is high-fiving Mama. Today is high five day, so everybody gets a high five. Swank says, sorry, when I think of an Impala, I think of the 1970s. My bad. Listen, I wish we had that kind of Impala. That would be my car, and I would not give it up, especially if it was black. If you know, you know. Comments jumped. Lucinda said, ooh, book mail just arrived. No idea what it is yet. Gonna open it. Ooh, let us know. Let us know. What you get? Allie says, we had everything around the alternator along with the alternator, almost $3,000. That had to replace. Yeah. We have had several alternators in this truck, and I'm beginning to wonder if maybe it is the things that surround the alternator. So, like I said, I'm going to have to find a dealership. I know of a couple that are nearby that he has not been to, and I will look into seeing if maybe one of them has somebody who can look at the electronics. So we'll see what happens. I'm determined to figure it out now because apparently he's not. He's just like, I want to buy a new truck. Not in the budget. Allie says, at the dealership mechanic. Lucinda says, I will 100% finish my physical read on the next sprint, so it's okay for just 2 sprint day. Awesome. That's all I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to be able to do 1 more sprint, so I might make it a little longer because I'll have to go take a quick shower so that I can then get ready and go to this poetry slam for my daughter's class. Lucinda says, oh, book mail was The Rebel Witch by Kristen. I can never pronounce that last name, but awesome. Yay for book mail. Was it something that you ordered or was it just something that was sent to you? Swank says, I'd love to have a vintage hearse. Ooh, those would be fun. And Lucinda says, second book in the Crimson Moth series, Fairy Loot Edition. Ooh, nice. All right. Let me change this to, we're going into our final sprint. Oop, that's not what I want. And then let me pull up the thing. Let's see if it's, I need to leave by 11:40. Okay, so no, I can't change. I can't make it longer. So we're just going to have to stick with the 30 minutes. Final sprint. And in this sprint, I will be getting ready to go. So, happy sprinting, everyone. And I'll see you back in 30 minutes. All right. Welcome back, everyone. How did everyone do that sprint? I took a shower. I am clean. That's pretty much all I did. And I started getting ready so that when I'm done here, I can leave and go back to school. Because I have to leave in like 9 minutes. All right. This was our last comment before that sprint. Second book in the Crimson Moth series. Standard. I haven't read the Crimson Moth yet. I have that same thing. Like, I have multiple books in a series, but I haven't read book 1 yet, so I can't read everything else. I'm right there with you. Lucinda says, but I read The Dark Forgetting by her too, and that was fairly good. Ooh, so maybe you'll like the Crimson Moth series. Pearl joined us. Hello. Welcome in. Lindsay says, yes, the kitty corn ones. They look fabulous. They are adorable. So this is where I wrote the titles and the authors. I believe one is the author, Shannon Hale, and then the other one probably does the illustrations. They're absolutely adorable. They're colorful. My daughter loves them. She loves anything with cats too, so that was a plus. Me saying hello to Pearl. Ren is saying she's heading out. Thanks for sprints, Alicia. To which I said, bye, Ren. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you later. Swank says, first sprint I did morning pages, and second did my daily health books. What will you do now, Swank? That you're all done with the morning stuff. Now you'll be able to read and hang out and, well, be able to hang out on other sprints. And I'll find sprints later on to do because I need to finish Pride and Prejudice pages, which I did not do at all. So that'll be the next thing. The next sprint will read Pride and Prejudice. Nice. Thanks for sprints, Alicia. You're so welcome, Allie. And Swank says high five to Pearl. All right. Let's see. Who all is... I know Paula had an issue, but she, I think, did start a new stream. Yes. And also Vanessa over at Reads with Dr. B. Let me see if I can pull these up, and I'll post some links real quick, and then I got a skedaddle. It was like, here, you're not signed in. You must sign in. I'm like, but I am signed in. And then I realized I wasn't. Okay, so. I click. Okay. Here we go. There is Vanessa with Read with Dr. B. Shannon is also doing some sprints. Shannon. Pearl says, hi there, Swank. How's you? There is Vanessa's link. And Pearl said apparently Paula's computer rebooted while she stepped away from her desk. But she's back now. Oof. Shannon, that is Shannon's link. No, normally I would do one more sprint, but being that we had more chatty bits than sprints, I cannot do a third sprint because I have to go to my daughter's school. Yeah, I'm going to my daughter's school, or I should say back to the school, because my daughter's class is doing a poetry slam, and she really wants me there. Otherwise, I would do another sprint. The only other way I could do another sprint is if I put you guys in for like an hour and a half. But I don't want to do that in case you guys like come back and I'm not here. You know what I mean? So I might do, maybe I'll do an extra sprint tomorrow's Morning Time Pirates. But I am going to post Paula's link. And those are some options for you guys to go to, and I'll be in the comments. So, Swank says, gotcha. Thanks for sprints. See you tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow morning, Swank. And like I said, I may do an extra sprint tomorrow to make up for it because I don't plan on going anywhere tomorrow. So, there is Paula's link if you want to go hang out with Paula for crafty sprints. And Pearl says, aha, okay, thanks for the sprints. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, guys. And on that note, I have to get going because if I don't leave soon, then I won't make it in time. It takes about 15-ish minutes, and I don't know what traffic's doing right now. So, thank you for coming and hanging out with the Morning Time Pirates this morning. I will see you guys tomorrow for my last takeover Morning Time Pirates sprints in the morning, as Kelly will be back on Monday unless we hear otherwise. And then I will see you for my Sunday sprints. So, thank you, Pearl. And I will see you guys in the comments and in the chats. And I will see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day and weekend. And